L'italiano è proprio strano. Italian is weird. In this video, we're going to be looking at the ways Italian is different from other European languages, even the ones that are closely related to it. We'll see how double letters make longer sounds, find out that my arm is a boy but my arms are girls, and discover when it's appropriate to call your boss she, even if they identify as a man. Let's have a look at what makes Italian slightly unusual. Lots of languages have long vowels, but Italian also has long consonants like Finnish. So palla means ball, but pala, with just one L, means shovel. So palla, palla. Can you hear the difference? I hope so, because it's quite important. Anno is year, but anno is anus. Not two things you want to mix up, really. Che pena means what a pity, but che penna means what a pen. È morto il mio gatto. Che penna. Che penna. Mi chiamo Dave. My name is Dave. Ho 64 anni. I have 64 anuses. Il mio piatto favorito, my favorite dish is penis in spicy sauce. Quando parlo italiano, when I speak Italian, often people don't understand me. What shovels? So yeah, in Italian, double consonants can have quite serious consequences. Se vi piace questo video, iscrivetevi. But sometimes the weirdness isn't about pronunciation, it's about grammar. Most of the time, Italian acts pretty normally in terms of singular and plural. One thing singular, two things plural. Except with qualche, which means a few, which takes the singular. Siamo qui da qualche giorno. Ho invitato qualche amico. Qualche domanda? There are lots of words for the in Italian, depending on whether things are masculine or feminine, singular or plural. Il raviolo, I ravioli. La penna, le penne. But something strange happens when a word begins with S, another consonant, what Italians called esse impura. There, instead of saying il for the singular, we say lo. And instead of I for the plural, we say gli. Lo spaghetto. Gli spaghetti. Spaghetti really does have a singular. You can say ti è caduto uno spaghetto. You dropped a strand of spaghetti. The same thing happens with other consonant clusters, including Z, because even though it's one consonant in the writing system, it represents ts or z. Lo zucchino, gli zucchini. And the same thing happens with GN, pronounced gna. Lo gnocco, I'm not taking them out of the packet. Gli gnocchi. And as well as articles, Italian does some interesting things with personal pronouns. Lots of languages have different words for you depending on how formal you're being. So French, tu, vous. Spanish, tu, usted. Russian, tu, vous. Chinese, ni, nin, etc. Italian has three words, tu, lei, and voi. During the Renaissance, Italians started addressing their superiors with flowery terms like Vostra Signoria, La Eccellenza, all of which were feminine nouns, so they took lei as a feminine pronoun and the third person singular. Vostra Signoria è stanca, lei è stanca. Is your lordship tired? Is she tired? There's also voi, used for plural you, like yous, you guys, yins, y'all, etc. And Mussolini and the fascisti, cue Maggie Smith.
Benito Mussolini, fascisti.
Now Mussolini and the fascisti preferred this term because they thought that lei was un-Italian, so they promoted the use of voi. But that fell into disuse, and these days lei is the singular and voi is the plural, both informally and formally. But you'll still hear voi in the singular in some parts of the South. Would she like a coffee? Who? There's nobody else here. No, she. What do you mean she? Oh, me. Now, if you've ever tried learning a language and found yourself having to memorize daft phrases like my penguin drinks milk, you might appreciate a different approach. Rosetta Stone, the sponsor of this video, drops you right into the language, and so you start working out meaning from context, which is exactly how people learn their first language. And as someone who puts a lot of effort into getting pronunciation right, I really appreciate the speech recognition system that will help you say penne and not something else that you might not want to say in a restaurant. I recently discovered the phrasebook section, where you can choose language for a particular situation. Vorrei ordinare la pasta con I frutti di mare. Oh, thinks I said con wrong. I can try again. The stories are really cool too, because you can read them to yourself, you can read them out loud, you can listen to them and read them, you can listen to them without reading them.
Firenze, la città dell'arte. Sono una studentessa e vivo a Firenze.
And you're kind of immersed in the language in a really special way. And it's sentences and parts of sentences and little phrases that stick in your mind. And that's what we in the business call chunks. And learning chunks is much more useful than like vocabulary lists or flashcards. They have 25 languages, and it's a lifetime subscription, so you're not paying every month forever. If you want to give it a try, there's a link in the description and in the QR code on screen now that will give you 60% off the lifetime subscription for all 25 languages. And so back to Italian weirdness and my gender fluid arms. Questo è il mio braccio, masculine singular. Queste sono le mie braccia, feminine plural. The explanation brings in another level of gender confusion. In Latin, brachium was neuter. The same thing happens with fingers, bones, knees, horns, and screams. The stress on Italian words is important, and normally it's on the syllable before last, except when it isn't. So bambino is predictable, but telefono and cinema aren't. And unlike Spanish, there aren't helpful little accent marks to tell you where the stress goes. You just have to know. Ancora means anchor, ancora means still or yet, and ancora means he or she anchored. It's something you say every day. You do get a little help with accent marks when the stress is on the last syllable, so città, perché, così, but people often leave them off. Italian spelling is a pretty good representation of pronunciation apart from a few things. And one thing it does really interestingly is the use of the letter H. In lots of languages that use the Latin script, H's are used to modify letters so that they represent sounds that Latin didn't have. So like TH in English changing to th, or s to sh. Or in French, k to sh. In Spanish, k to ch. Italian, and for that matter Romanian, do it the other way round. C and G are pronounced k and g before hard vowels, but ch and j before e and I. So if you want to spell chi or che, gi or ge, you put an H in. Giro, turn, giro, dormouse, a Roman delicacy back in the day. Cina, China, kilo, kilo. Scemo, stupid, schema, scheme. We talked about double consonants earlier, but something even more unusual and that not many people know about is that sometimes Italian doubles consonants between words. Some accents may vary. This happens a lot after short words, but not all short words. So la casa is the house, but vado a casa. Because in Latin it was ad casam, and that D disappeared, but there's a kind of shadow of it left behind in the lengthening of what comes after. Other examples are come vai, va bene. There's a whole bunch of clitics in Italian. Little words that stick together sometimes. Give it to him. He's daglielo. And sometimes, a bit like phrasal verbs in English, putting these things together changes the meaning. So volere is to want, but volerci is to be necessary, or to take as in time. In questa situazione ci vuole pazienza. You need patience in this situation. Da Napoli a Roma ci vuole 1 ora e 10 minuti in treno. From Naples to Rome it takes 1 hour and 10 minutes by train. Yeah, and 3 hours from LA to San Diego, the same distance. What even is Italian? People often think of Neapolitan and Tuscan and Lombard, etc. as being dialects of Italian, kinds of Italian, but they're not. They didn't come from Italian, they're not children of Italian, they're its brothers and sisters. When Vulgar Latin evolved, speakers in different regions went in different directions. That created a patchwork of distinct languages. Many of these developed their own literary traditions, like Sicilian in the court of Frederick II. They were the official languages of the various city-states, with Venetian being a lingua franca around the Mediterranean in trading ports. A variety of Florentine Tuscan eventually became the standard, but really by an accident of history. Dante Alighieri, Boccaccio and Petrarch developed it as a literary language, and the fashion caught on. But most people carried on speaking their native languages. Linguist Tullio di Mauro estimated that in 1861, when the Italian state was founded, yes, it's even younger than the United States of America, he estimated that only 2.5% of the population could speak standard Italian properly. So that's just a few of the things that make Italian weird, or unique if you prefer. Now, if you enjoyed this little exploration of the weirdnesses of Italian, check out this one next, because French is even weirder. Grazie per aver guardato e alla prossima.